There it is. What's up, Amazon sellers? I don't know how Chris does that so fast. Like you got to pause the music. You got to take the little placeholder off. I just can't get it down. What's going on, Amazon sellers? Welcome back to the weekly Amazon Q&A show, news and Q&A show, where we share some e-commerce news, some stats, occasional business maxim, and of course, most importantly, we're going to answer your questions. We, meaning I, Mr. Grant, is traveling since we are, I don't know whether you want to call it the holiday week or rivalry week, depending on how important college football is to you. It's very important week for Buckeye fans right now. So thank you very much for being here. Thanks for joining me. If you are new here, my name is Chris Rasick, and I am your mustachioed and autarkic host today. Like I said, Chris will be back on Wednesday, I believe. You got me solo on a Sunday. If you got a question, as far as questions, I'll do my best with about anything you got, whether it's retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale. If you got a Keepa question, Storefront Stalker Pro question, OAC Plus question, drop it in the chat. I will do my best, at the very least, push you off until Wednesday to when Chris Grant can get you a better answer. But so go ahead and fire those in. I've got some news pieces. I did prep. There's some interesting news, I think. Kind of had a little bit of fun while I was collecting stuff today. So I do have stuff to go over, but I will stop in between. We're trying to a bit of a reformat now over the past month or so. We're trying to sprinkle in your questions a little bit earlier. We used to just kind of do a block of news and then we do the questions, but we'll kind of sprinkle questions in between news pieces as the show flows. So let me see if there's anything starting. Becky, how are you? Thanks for showing up. Christy, good to see you. Karen, how are you? Heather, hola. What's up, Juan? Hello from Vegas. I'm jealous of your weather, aside from anything else. And I could really use the Raiders defense to make Shador look like a more of a rookie as far as my fantasy football goes. I would appreciate that. Karen, how are you? First question, did you reach your Movember goal? I did, as a matter of fact. The goal this year was 7,500, and last I checked, I was actually a little bit over 7,900. I'm actually less than $100 away from $8,000, which is incredible. And thanks in very large part to the efforts of you guys, the audience, the community. You guys your generosity has taken this to a level, honestly, I didn't know was possible. It wasn't that long ago where I was struggling to even raise a few $100s. A $500 goal was a challenge not too long ago. So, but you guys have really busted it wide open for me. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's for a very good cause. We still another week to go. I gotta have this. I gotta have this on my face for another week. So if you do have, if you want to do a little bit of good, regardless of whether we hit the goal, the point is for the cause. I'll take this. There's a banner, Movember.com/M/Chris Rasick. If you would like to donate and get me to 8,000, that would be great. That would add a little pressure to next year, but that's fine. Movember in a nutshell. If you've missed, if you've missed the mega show last week and you missed the mentions, primarily its aim is to improve men's health. And they do that primarily through mental health, suicide prevention. They fight prostate cancer and they fight testicular cancer. Not only how to detect it early, obviously with the cancers, that's one of their big things, and also how to talk about it, how to deal with it. They have resources for all of that stuff. So they've done they've funded somewhere of like 1,300 programs worldwide. And their most recent and biggest endeavor is $100 million headquarter center to do the best they can improving men's health. So that's what it's all about. Thank you very much. You never doubted me. Oh, well, I did. I'm not afraid to admit that I thought it was a very daunting goal. It felt a little silly punching in 7,500, and you guys helped me blow that out of the water. So, hello, Sarah. All right, Eden has a question. Is anyone having luck with asking for SDS from Bath and Body Works? What is the estimated time for Amazon to remove you from a listing for SDS? Well, as far as the time frame goes, I don't believe that there's any consistency. You'll find people that have been removed immediately, and then you'll have people that, whatever time frame that it's over 30 days, nothing's been done, and they're still able to sell on it, and nothing's happened. So you won't find any consistency as far as that's concerned. Oh, did I do the wrong? Hi, Becky. Rebecca, I called you Becky. I thought, all right, I'm sorry. Hello, Rebecca and Becky. Let me get you both in there. Sorry. But Eden, I am going to pause this because I do have a piece of news that may or may not be relevant to your question. And it may give you some insight as to the answer. So stay tuned, if you will. And then another question: I've started selling on eBay. Can you use Target and Walmart boxes to ship eBay orders? Absolutely. I believe the only thing you can't use that they explicitly state are alcohol boxes, like liquor bottles, and you can't ship in that. But as far as outside of alcohol related items, I ship in anything and everything. I use Amazon, I use Target, I use Walmart. Yeah, I got a big stash of boxes in the garage just for eBay. I kind of eye it up and vaguely think of the inventory that I have listed and to determine whether that's a good box. I am that guy. So all right. I think we decided to just call you Alexander. Was that the safe? I think that's safe play. Long story short, I got my account deactivated. I'm fighting with support, but I doubt I will get it back to life. I want to continue selling on Amazon. What options are available? A broad question. My first question, follow-up question to your question would be whether you've hired legal counsel. There are Amazon-specific legal firms that specialize in this. Now, you do have essentially a pre-existing condition, which is going to make it more expensive. Usually, it's much cheaper to have sellers on retainer. Yeah, places like Seller Basics and then Jeff Schick, they both have services. They're both they have experience selling on Amazon, or they have sold directly on Amazon, so they're familiar with what we have to deal with, and they are attorneys, and they run services specifically for Amazon sellers. So as far as the account that you have that's deactivated, I would look at trying to fight that with legal help if you haven't already. As far as if it's truly beyond being resuscitated or resurrected, you can open up another one. I know Chris has talked about this. I'm not super comfortable with the details, but I know you can open up a second account, or not a second account. You'd want to separate it. You can open another account. You would want to make sure it was a clean break, and any connections to your existing account. Amazon is a data company, and they're very good at detecting multiple accounts from the same user. So that would take some diligence. I think your best bet is fighting as hard as you can to save your existing account. I think in the long run, that's easier, even if it is a little bit more expensive. I watched the Seller Basics video Chris Grant posted. Thank you very much. I thought that was a really good episode. Myself, how are you managing delivery confirmations? I have not been managing delivery confirmations. So I assume you're asking about OA orders. As far as delivery confirmation, I mean, I usually get once I'll get a shipping confirmation when I do OA. That usually comes through email. I will get tracking. So whatever service they use to ship your order, you're going to be able to pull documentation from UPS or FedEx or whatever company that they're using. And then I usually get a delivery confirmation from the store. And then also UPS or FedEx, they'll have delivery confirmation as well. So there's multiple pieces of documentation that you can pull when it comes to delivery confirmation. If it's a specific question about the podcast, go ahead and give me a little bit more detail if that didn't quite answer your question. So, but that's what I do. I always have at least 3 pieces of documentation that I can give as far as delivery. So, and then you may have a prep center if that's where it's going. They may be able to take pictures of it or have some sort of documentation as well, and packing slips too. If you're using a prep center, make sure you talk to them, kind of ask them what their policy is. I know most of them, all the ones that I deal with, they keep packing slips, so they'd be able to scan that and provide that if I ask them. So, okay, so you are talking about OA orders. Do you save the confirmations or just hope you can find those in your email inbox? I don't necessarily look at those as 2 different alternatives. I use Gmail, and Gmail search is very good. That said, I do have different folders, and I essentially use my Gmail as my document storage. So I'm able to kind of parse things out. You can do it by time frame. You can do it by year. You can even probably the ideal thing would be to do it by store. You can just make a new label, and I have sourcing receipts, and then underneath that I have my subdivisions. However I work it out, I should do it by store. I don't do it by store, but that would be the easiest way to do it. And then you have all of your documentation, and it's sorted by date, so you can kind of go back through, pull order confirmation, shipping confirmation, delivery confirmation, all that stuff all in one shot. So, all right, looks like that clears out the questions. If you have more questions, go ahead and fire them off. I will get to a little bit of news, and then I'll check back for more questions. The first piece of news I wanted to share with you has to do with Target. We know we've had multiple pieces of information come across on the struggle that Target's going through right now. Sales are not good. They're falling behind the other big players. But as part of trying to resurrect their sales, resurrect their shareholder value, more accurately, they decided to launch an app. They're in partnership with OpenAI to open an app in OpenAI's ChatGPT. Target's rolling out an app inside ChatGPT that's going to let customers shop its full product catalog via conversational AI. Users will be able to browse, get personalized recommendations, something like plan a movie night or stuff like that. They can add items like snacks, blankets, slippers to their cart and select fulfillment options as well, whether that be buy online, pick up in store, BOPIS model, whether it be delivery via shipped, they own that, or the pickup counter, going inside and picking it up. The app is actually entering beta this week. Thanksgiving 2025 was what the press release said. And it's part of Target's broader push to embed AI across its operations, from their supply chain forecasting all the way to personalized digital experiences. Why is this important to sellers and resellers? Target's partnership with OpenAI marks a continuation of the broader retail trend of embedding commerce inside conversational platforms. Main competitor, Walmart, has announced something very similar. They announced their own ChatGPT integration just about a month ago now. So with more major retailers enabling conversational shopping, discoverability and search behaviors are shifting, right? This is going to mean instead of type in what you want in the search bar, that's going to become tell the bot what you want. So that's obviously going to change to some degree, yet to be determined, to what degree, but it'll certainly change how inventory and deals get surfaced. Target's saying they had the quote, they run on AI. And that means supply chain and their store processes. This is indicating obviously an increase in automation that could influence pricing, could influence stock updates, and it could influence fulfillment speed. And these are all things that we have to consider as arbitragers. Conversational shopping on a broader scale lowers friction, and that's Amazon has ridden that to massive revenue. We know that firsthand. But this, basically you're going to browse and buy in one place through conversation. That obviously lowers friction. It could shorten the funnel and shift how consumers discover these deals, like I mentioned. It's something to watch for when you evaluate your sourcing opportunities. Whether it's better, worse for arbitragers, we'll see. But I think the important thing is to, kind of make another tick. It's another major retailer making a significant shift in including AI in their shopping experience. So interesting in the least, I thought. All right, so no questions. I will move on to the next piece. This one, this one has less to do with us, and I just want, I want this to become a trend. I hope this becomes popular. Prime Video is launching AI-powered video recaps, and it's designed to help viewers catch up in between seasons. And I think this is fantastic. Here are the details on it. Amazon's Prime Video is rolling out a new feature called Video Recaps. It's an AI-powered tool that creates short, cinematic quality summaries of entire seasons to help viewers jump back in when they've been away. These recaps use generative AI to identify key plot points and character arcs, then weave them together with dialogue snippets, music, narration, and video clips in one compact recap. Currently, the feature is in beta in the US, and it's available on select Prime originals such as Jack Ryan, Fallout, Upload, Bosch, and The Rig currently. Users can find the recap via a dedicated button on the show's detail page. typically when a new season begins, so you can refresh your memory before diving in. So this is it's not completely irrelevant to Amazon sellers. I mean, this is good. It's an improvement to Prime Video, right? And if the better Prime Video is, the more likely that's going to improve retention of Amazon Prime members. And Prime members, as we all know, spend much more than non-Prime members. And we haven't quite hit the ceiling yet on Prime membership. There's a little bit of growth to be had, not major, not big chunks at a time, but there's still some room to grow. So that's positive for us as third-party sellers. I just love it because it takes so long for them to make a new season of television. I think they need to do this on all of the seasons. I don't want to have to rewatch the old seasons just to remember where I was, because it's been 4 years since the last season came out. I think this is fantastic from an entertainment perspective. I really wish, and this may be odd coming from a 50-year-old man, I wish video games would do this. I've been saying for the longest time, I don't have time to play video games, but part of the reason that I don't, aside from being an adult with responsibilities and whatnot, part of the reason I don't is because I can't remember how to work the controls, and I always thought for the longest time that video games should have a built-in tutorial that you can access at any point in the game and just kind of walk you through quickly how to work everything, refresh where you are in the game as far as the whatever save you're loading up. This is needed. I'd probably play a little bit more. Well, I'd probably play because I don't play at all, unfortunately. But I'd love to. I wish I had the time. I wish I had a grasp on my business where I had pockets of free time to watch shows and movies and stuff. But something like this might actually help. I think this is a cool idea. I think this is going to be a big hit because I know I'm not the only one that has trouble kind of remembering what happened, or you'll hear a friend saying, "Oh, I got to rewatch season 1 because season 2 is coming up, in a few weeks." So pretty cool. Obviously improves Prime Video. All right, let's see what we have here. Well, I don't know if it's just Vegas. Target's in trouble. These moves are out of desperation. Target, they've missed 3 quarters in a row. They've disappointed estimates. The stock's taken a hit. There's a lot of information on how Target's just kind of a bunch of swings and misses. So. MW2, I'm trying to watch all of your podcasts and weekly Q&A sessions from the day you guys started. All right. Good. Thank you. Any advice on how to do this efficiently as possible, or in which sequence? That's a good question. Because I think there are 90 or so podcast episodes now. So obviously those go in order. On YouTube they have timestamps. I'm not sure as far as like integrating it, like if you want to do a podcast and then listen to the news and Q&A shows like as they came out. I'm not sure if YouTube would give you the option to combine both of those, all the videos together. That would be the only way that I could think to do that. But the podcast, it's going to take a while because we're pretty long-winded on the podcast. like we don't, we laugh about it. It's been a while, but we originally were actually talking about having like half-hour podcasts, and I'm not sure we have very many that are under an hour, and we have more that are over 2 hours than we do that are under an hour. I'm 99% sure of that. So we can chat it up. So appreciate it though. That's A for effort. That's awesome. Googled a lot of bad reviews of Seller Basics. Do you use their services? Yes, I do. Seller Basics. One of my favorite podcast episodes was with Paul Rafelson of Seller Basics, and the most recent podcast episode that we've released is with Joy from Seller Basics. Here's the thing: people that have a bad opinion of Seller Basics, I'd be willing to bet things didn't go their way. It's kind of like people that have bad reviews of selling on Amazon. There's a bunch of people that have quit or lost their store, and they've decided that selling on Amazon is a scam, right? All of the negativity that you see on social media in regards to Amazon and selling on it are people that had something bad happen to them. Now there's a question of the story that they'll tell us as far as what happened, to make them lose their account or whatever. The truth of what happened, might be a bit different of a story. I find that when you get more details on somebody that has a negative opinion, you find out that usually somewhere in the process there's oftentimes there's something they were doing, something that they shouldn't have been doing, something that wasn't white hat. So we know being around customers that it's you're 20 times more likely to leave a bad review than a good review. And when it comes to the services that Seller Basics offers, things get serious when you need Seller Basics. So if it didn't work out right, if they couldn't get what you needed done, people are going to take it out on somebody. They'll say Amazon sucks, Seller Basics sucks, and they'll leave bad reviews. I don't think that's a fair assessment. Just my opinion. I think they're, just talking to, Joy, the episode with Joy just came out. She's more conservative than I am, which, kind of made me pause a bit, but she knows her stuff. And I still say the episode with Paul is underwatched. That was a great conversation. He has so much insight, and there were so many nuggets to pull out of that talk with him. They know their stuff, so I take the bad reviews with a grain of salt. So, Sarah, so in the interview with Joy, she was talking about having to close and delete listings. Don't recall if or what to do if you've already deleted but not closed it first. Since chance still get IP. So this is the type of thing where if you weren't doing that before, the best time to start is now. The best time to start was yesterday. Kind of like that best time to plant a tree saying that they have. If you weren't doing it before, just start doing it now. I think the chances ultimately are fairly low that you're going to run into trouble. But yeah, you should close and delete. It's a two-step process. That's going to be the safest place. As far as the stuff that you've already deleted and didn't close, honestly, I don't know if there's a way to kind of reverse it and then close it after the fact. I think once it's deleted, it's gone. And I've even had support tell me that, because there was a one point in time early when I was selling, I would get health violations, and I wasn't quite sure how they worked, so I would delete it right away. And at one point in time, I was talking to support, and I was talking to them about something that I deleted, and they said, "Well, it's gone. It's been deleted. It's gone. There's nothing you can do now." So I was kind of at the mercy. I think after the fact, it was basically the ones that had no impact. I think if I deleted the listing, it would wipe that away from my account health, and that was probably what I thought was a positive thing. It's probably what made me put that in place for a while. But yeah, I know a little bit more now. So now it's now I follow the close and delete separately. I think at one point in time I was really annoyed at how many emails I would get. Like, because I think you get the email when it's closed, I believe. And there were times where I would close, I'd get like 100 emails or something. I was like, oh, I'm not doing this. And then I learned a little bit about how the process works. I was like, oh, all right, I can handle a few emails if this keeps me out of trouble. So if I'm based in the UK, do you still recommend me joining OAC Plus? Otherwise, is there another group or community you recommend? Let's see. In the UK, so what would be? So I don't know if Storefront Stalker Pro. I don't believe you'd be able to use that tool with stores in the UK. So you're based in the UK? Are you selling on Amazon UK, or are you selling on Amazon.com in the US? If you're selling in the US, if you're selling on .com, yeah, I don't think there's any hesitation as far as joining OAC Plus. Because that's a lot of it's geared towards that. I think we have some Canadian sellers in the OAC Plus. Lessons, a lot of the basic stuff, a lot of lessons, account health. That's going to be regardless of marketplace. The courses, there's $3,000 worth of courses in there. That's going to be helpful regardless of where you're selling for the most part. So there are still definitely benefits. Yeah. And as far as, and I don't know any UK groups otherwise. Yeah, I'm not sure who's over there. Might be if you're, I know there are UK sellers on Amazon Twitter. There are a lot of people that I follow that are based in the UK. So if OAC Plus isn't, exactly what you need, you might be able to find some communities tracking down some UK sellers on social media. And I do find Twitter a little bit easier to zero in on specific content like that. So, JP, what are the flaws or risks from sourcing on eBay? Do they consider receipts from eBay as valid for authenticity cases? For the most part, no. There are some legitimate sellers, like Adidas sells on eBay. I think Puma sells on eBay. If you bought inventory from one of them on eBay and provided an invoice, I think essentially you're going to get the same invoice that they provide on their main website. So I think you're probably okay. But if you're buying from somebody that you can't really verify, they just kind of have an eBay store. Yeah, if you get in trouble and you have to provide documentation and your documentation is from eBay, you're probably going to have a hard time. I know a lot of sellers are hard no. They don't care what it is. They won't source from eBay to sell on Amazon. Yeah, authenticity is going to be very, very difficult unless it's, like I said, unless it's the brand themselves. Yeah, but then I know there's a little pocket of people that, will laugh and show, they'll post screenshots of a clean account health, and they're like, all I do is source from eBay and sell on Amazon. Well, what they're doing, I don't know, and even if I did know, I'm not sure I want to try. There's it's just too hard. If it's not a brand, I'm not even sure how I would know it was authentic. Like there were I bought some fake back when what's the Cards Against Humanity, that used to be a big seller on Amazon, and they had some hard to find packets of stuff that sold really, really well. And I tried early. Again, this is early. This is not an official recommendation. This is a mistake that I made early on. But I found one of the better selling, the higher ticket ones. I found it on eBay and opened a pack up, and yeah, I don't think they were real. So, yeah, and it was inexperience at that point, on my part. And I didn't end up selling on my Amazon. Kind of, I paid for that lesson, but it could have turned out far worse. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of risk, in my opinion. I suppose there's a clean, a white hat way to do it. But I just, yeah, it's not worth it for me. I can find inventory, via OA, legitimate retailers and stuff like that. I don't necessarily have to resort to eBay. So, easy, yeah, easy question. The cost of the OAC doesn't do justice for the benefit you get. Appreciate it, JP. Yeah. Oh, I suppose we should get into that. Kind of mentioned a little bit, OAC Plus. That's what we're talking about. It's Chris Grant. The OAC in it is the OA Challenge. That's Chris's flagship educational course. And the OAC Plus is a community kind of based on the OAC and everything that it entails. He has a paid community right now. Probably heard us talk about it before. I will give you the rundown. It takes a long time to talk about all of the benefits, right? There's so many different ways to make your money back. A brief rundown. There's a dedicated flip alert channel. It runs 24/7, and it constantly feeds you Amazon to Amazon flips. That's a channel in the OAC Plus. You get free access to Storefront Stalker Pro, which is one of my favorite tools. It has made sourcing so much easier. That alone will repay you for your membership. You get access to the small plan. You get 3 stores. You can stock those for absolute free, no cost. If you decide that you like it or you need more, you get a 40% discount off of the retail price of Storefront Stalker Pro. So I believe it works out. I think the plan 40 stores is what I use. That would normally cost me $140 a month. And the OAC Plus discount takes that down to 80 and change, just for perspective. So there's a 10, 20, and 40 plan. All 3 of those are going to have 40% off for you as an OAC Plus member. I mentioned the courses. There's $3,000 worth of education at your fingertips. There's the OA Challenge. You get access to the replays. You will get free access to every OA Challenge in the future as part of your membership. So he runs those quarterly. There's 3 or 4 a year. You'll get access to all of those free. You'll get access to all the replays. You'll get access to the Wholesale Challenge. You'll get access to Keepa Academy. Eventually, they're not in there yet, but they're coming soon. The Keepa SOPs, right, which is just a plug and play way to source via Keepa. You get the credit card points and miles challenge. We go through a lot of inventory, and if you're not maximizing cash back and credit card perks, you're missing out on a huge benefit. I haven't paid very much for travel over the last few years, and I have hundreds of thousands of points because I learned a little bit on how to stack that. Every Monday night, I do a sourcing session. I run for at least 90 minutes, and I share my screen, and you'll watch me source, and I'll show you everything. I'll think out loud. I'll go through my process with you. I'll answer questions as I go. There are live coaching calls every Thursday at noon. Chris will have, he usually presents something, something that'll help you with your business, and then he takes questions live every Thursday. There's an active community. It's housed on Discord, multiple channels. There's book chat. There's a wellness chat. There's a wins channel. There's box wars, which is one of my favorite. People show their boxes waiting for UPS to pick up. It's cool. General chat. We answer questions. All sorts of channels in there. It's a vibrant community there. Chris will also provide suspension support. He's not an Amazon lawyer, but he's got a heck of a lot of experience. So if anything happens to your account, he will help you, whether that be writing POA, plan of action, whether that just be communication. He can help you with your drafts or your emails as you communicate with support, trying to get anything cleared up like that. That alone, Seller Basics is going up to $199 a month, their retainer. Again, not quite apples to apples because they're backed by attorneys, of course, but you can get a pretty large percentage of the firepower of something like a Seller Basics with the suspension support. And then he has guest interviews all the time. He'll bring in Jeff Storch, Saul Doan of the Buy Box, and Flip Alert. He'll bring special exclusive interviews as well. So normally there was a founders rate. A whole bunch of people got in on the ground floor. That was smart on their part. The founders rate has expired. So now the normal price is $99 a month. Plus there is an initiation fee. But right now their Black Friday special is going. That's going to take 40% off both the initiation fee and your monthly fee for life. Okay, I believe it takes it down to $59. Goes from $99 down to $59 a month. Okay, and other communities, even the 99 is a bargain. Like a lot of communities that have this much to offer, they're going to charge you at least $150, if not more. So the 99 is a bargain. The 59 should be a no-brainer. And if people in the comments, people in the community, I haven't heard anything bad. People are a lot of positive reviews. So the code for the OAC Plus Black Friday, I should give that to you. That is, what is that code? BF40? Black Friday, yeah, BF40. I should double check that. I should have prepped that. But go to oachallenge.com/plus. In the coupon code, add BF40, and that'll take 40% off. So it's only going to run. I assume it's only going to run for Thanksgiving. Through Thanksgiving, through Black Friday, maybe through Cyber Week. But the clock's ticking on that discount. It's something you should jump on. One and a half speed. There you go. That's if you're going to climb that mountain, do it at least at 1.5 times speed. So, question: I still don't understand the difference between close and delete. But sounded as first close and then delete is the way. Yes. Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure I could give you a clean, concise explanation. I think closing it is essentially you're not offering it for sale, and then deleting it is actually removing it from your catalog completely. So I think the main distinction, at least how I understand it, is if it's still open, basically deleting the listing from your catalog, that just deletes essentially your FN SKU, and takes it out. But I think it's still visible on the back end, like if somebody wants to find all of the historical sellers, if you didn't close it, I believe you're going to be on that list. So I think one is basically like offering it, and then the other is basically like inventory, like having that FN SKU available, if that makes any sense. But like I said, I'm not clear on the difference myself. I just know both of them are important. So let's see. My worry is finding communities on Twitter I don't want to interact with. Yeah, that's my worry on all of the social media platforms. but that's also why I like Twitter, right? Because you can actually, I think Twitter does the best job out of the social medias or social media platforms in the way you can customize what you see. Facebook is basically pay to play. There's a bunch of groups and they simply don't seem to get promoted unless you're actively paying Zuckerberg for exposure. And I resent that anyway. Twitter, I can put people on a list. I have a list of Amazon FBA accounts that I want to see, right? And I prune it, I'll make edits and whatnot. I've taken people off and I've added other people to it. And I can actually just go to that list only. And if I want to read about Amazon or something I want to talk about or see if other people are talking about it, I can do that pretty easily on Twitter through lists. And you can have multiple lists. So I think it's easy to curate it. So yeah, I that's you're not alone, Juan. I got my first dose of healthy profit via Cards Against Humanity, and yeah, plenty of people got their first ding with Cards Against Humanity. That was an interesting kind of little sub market. Stacy, please, I'm here to hear about the OAC Plus. Like, is it a very active Discord? I almost signed up last night, figured I'd wait until tonight. Is Storefront Stalker Pro similar to Stealth Seller? I haven't heard of Stealth Seller. I'm not sure. Storefront Stalker Pro is Storefront Stalker Pro is it's basically a dashboard, and you can mark, you can add storefronts to it, and every time that they add new inventory, Storefront Stalker Pro will take that and populate your dashboard with the specific ASINs. And it'll provide you the title, it'll give you a picture, it'll give you the ASIN, it'll give you 30, 90, 180 day average buy box price. It'll tell you who currently has the buy box. It will give you links to the Amazon detail page. It'll give you a link to Google Shopping. It'll give you a link to Keepa, and it'll take the ASIN, and you hit the Keepa link, and it'll pop that ASIN into Keepa for you in just one click. SellerAmp, there's a one-click button where you can look at it in SellerAmp, and basically it's just a big dashboard full of ASINs, and you can actually source right from the dashboard. That's what I do on Monday nights in my sourcing sessions. Basically, I just share my screen. I share my Storefront Stalker Pro dashboard, and we source from it. And over 90 minutes, it's nothing to find 6 to 10 leads, and hundreds of dollars of projected profit based on 5 units is generally how I try to calculate it. So Big T co-host. I should have hit you up for a co-hosting. The co-hosting spot was available. It is a season show, or sorry, I started reading. It was a solo show for a while. So follow up. I'm a seasoned seller and looking to be in with similar people. Yeah, we have there's new sellers, there are experienced sellers. All of us are growing sellers one way or another, wherever we're at. There's some, in the Wins channel, there's some pretty big sellers. There's some pretty impressive orange bars and stacks of boxes for UPS. So, and it's, Stacy, if you like, this is my opinion, but I think if you like the vibe that Chris and I have, I think Chris has done a pretty good job of transferring that vibe into the community. And I've been in a bunch, and there's a lot of different speeds, that communities go through, and there's different levels of hustle and whatnot. But I think Chris has replicated, his brand. I think he's successfully transferred that over into the community. So, if you appreciate the show, I think you'll appreciate the community as well. So, I do need to double check that code. If anybody lets me know if that code's not working, put your BF40. I'll try to double check that. Somebody give me a shout if that's not working. For some reason I'm drawing a blank, but yeah. And of course, cancel anytime is also the option if you find out it's not for you. I think I'm going to grab the annual Black Friday. Sweet. Yeah, that's it's pretty cool. There's a bunch of personalities, a bunch of good stuff in there. T, it'd be fun to have you. Yep. Yeah, the community is in Discord. The links, like if there's an event, like the sourcing show, there's a link to that video that takes you over to StreamYard, which is what I'm using, what we use for these shows. That link will take you to StreamYard. But yeah, basically the heart of everything starts in Discord, and goes from there. So yeah, people are asking where you're at, Big T. You can't, I mean, you can't make the impression that you make on the show, and then it leaves a void over in the OAC Plus, to have you in the show. And then, oh, okay. So it's spelled out. There it is. Black Friday 40. Apologies for the incorrect code. Black Friday 40. Again, that takes 40% off the initiation fee and 40% off your monthly fee for life. So you get in, you'll be paying $50 a month. Everybody that joins after you that misses this sale will be paying $99 for now. It may go up from there depending on how it goes. Who knows? So it is okay. Stealth Seller. Yeah. It sounded similar. I didn't want to make assumptions on what exactly Stealth Seller was, but yeah. So again, free access. I'm a huge fan of Storefront Stalker Pro. I try not to, like the other stuff is really good too. Like you probably make more money off the other perks, but I just, for some reason, Storefront Stalker Pro is my jam. It never lets me down. So let's see. Are you doing your own account health management, or do you hire help? As my account has grown, I'm struggling to keep up with admin work. That's a good problem to have. Growth, keeping up, being able to keep up with admin. That's the essential. That's the biggest question. Is when people ask, when do I know when it's right? When's the right time to hire a VA, or when should I hire help of whatever sort? Essentially a good answer to that question is it's time to get help. It's time to outsource some stuff when taking care of those tasks costs you money. Like if you need to source and you it creates a bottleneck and you aren't able to source because you're taking care of admin, that's the right time to outsource some help. So, account health, I do primarily handle it myself. I have Seller Basics on retainer in case it's something that I need to be a little careful with. But most stuff, most of the stuff that comes across, is stuff that I can handle myself at this point. So, but yeah, there's outsourcing, there are even services, you can look at VAs. I know there are people that are trying to hire VAs for admin stuff. That gives you some flexibility, gives you a broader range. But there are also tools, and then services, stuff like True Ops, if you're banging your head trying to get reimbursements for lost inventory and whatnot, True Ops is a great option. Once you get signed up, I think they take a 10% cut of what they get back for you. So, they're only getting paid if they're giving you money as well. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different ways to free up some time, which is probably the most important part of doing that. So, Heather says, "Come on over, Stacy." Appreciate that. What was the software package? Like 10 different things, one price. So are you talking about in the OAC Plus, the list of perks, or are you talking about Seller 365 that we used to talk about way back? That's the tactical arbitrage. That's the 3 Colts package. Basically, it's tactical arbitrage, inventory labs, inventory lab accounting. It is feedback whiz. I'm a little. Some of the details are lost on me, but yeah, they did combine the package, and that was big a while ago. If that's the one you're talking about, that would be 3 Colts that you're looking for. Yep, they're still around. Yep, it's yeah, they bundled all 10 of their service products under one price. Saved me a ton of money because I was paying for tactical arbitrage and inventory labs separately. So essentially, I got one of them free. So yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer depending on what your tech stack is or what your tool stack is. Is that Shannon? I'm getting like your YouTube names instead of normal names. I think this is Shannon. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Okay. I think we're through the questions. There is okay. So I promised I would get to Bath and Body Works. So I do want to touch on. It is weird, Shannon. Yeah, I don't know. StreamYard's made some changes. There's like that vertical. I don't know if that's happening again, but they've done some good stuff. Pretty impressed. Like, oh, I didn't put the comments. Right, like little comments on the stage. Like, I like that. That's a good move, and they're doing some cool stuff. So, but the last piece of news that I wanted to share with you, and this is get your if you have a draft for social media, get the RIP fill in the blank, get that ready for the new brand because I think Bath and Body Works is going to be falling pretty soon. The reason why Bath and Body Works is going to launch on Amazon. Bath and Body Works will begin selling a curated selection of its products directly on Amazon early next year as part of its newly announced consumer first formula strategy that's focused on putting the shopper at the center. The move is meant to reclaim up to, get this, $60 to $80 million in estimated gray market sales on Amazon, where unauthorized sellers are already offering Bath and Body Works items. That's interesting because that means third-party sellers are selling $60 to $80 million worth of Bath and Body Works. A few of you know that very, very well. Some of you may be surprised, but it's a very big brand on Amazon. The brand's initial Amazon launch will be limited in product assortment. It'll be designed as a test and learn opportunity to build ratings, reviews, and visibility on the marketplace. Brand strategy. So why is this important? Brand strategy, right? This fits a broader trend of brands going from we'll keep control of distribution, shifting to we must be where the consumer is, right? It's worth, this is worth noting. Eventually I would imagine it's going to go away to some degree, whether it be like an Adidas, where they kind of handle their current things. Like the Christmas stuff is obviously very popular right now. We may be able to sell Halloween stuff right now, and Christmas stuff in Q1 and stuff like that. We'll see how it plays out. But Yeah. So if you're actively sourcing Bath and Body Works products, you may want to reduce exposure, or at least stay flexible and be ready to reduce your exposure to it. Um, I do enough reverse sourcing to know that there are a handful of stores that do a lot of volume with that brand. So this will certainly be a challenge moving forward. But so I put that question, the Bath and Body Works. Somebody was asking early in the show for SDS, and they were having a little bit of trouble. I don't know if this is part of the reason, that it may be taking a while, for you to get the information. They may not be interested in providing documentation to an Amazon seller that needs it for the Amazon marketplace. They may have had this, they've had meetings, they knew this was coming, so that may explain some changes in the way the website works. It may explain some of the processing. I've heard people, some people are getting locked out of their accounts. Sometimes the site gets wonky. That may be a technical thing, or it may be related to this. But yeah, we're going to have Bath and Body Works directly on the Amazon catalog. So yeah, it's good to know. Yeah, it's $60 to $80 million. I knew it was big, but I'm still surprised when I saw the 60 to 80. I've sold my fair share of that stuff. I'm not one of the big ones, but yeah, I knew it was good. Didn't know it was quite that good. Are they stupid? um, yeah, I don't know. We will find out. Exactly what the move is. I mean, if it's, I don't know. It depends on what happens to the pricing. Is it going to be good for consumers? Because look, Bath and Body Works, it's no secret. There's a big swath of sellers that know all about it. You can get discount gift cards, steady supply. Anywhere from usually 5 to double digits. You can find 5 to 12% off on a gift card too, and then they're always running specials. So seems like there's an opportunity for an extremely low buy cost more than there isn't an opportunity. So it's no secret in the seller community. Plenty of the listings tank. It only takes one cowboy, like I always say. So there are plenty that don't end up very profitable, or kind of tank for an extended period of time. What happens to that? It's obviously selling below MSRP. How do they transfer all the deals that they constantly have on their site? How do they transfer that to Amazon? Can they transfer that? Are they going to have deals in the buy box, like automatic discounts applied, or, are they going to do that sort of thing on the Amazon detail page, or is it simply availability? Because they'll these hand soaps what do they start at, like $12.95 or something like that? But yet you find the right deal or something, and with a discount, you can end up getting those. Well, I think it might be ending right now. The hand soaps are $2.95. So whatever the regular retail price is, but that's upwards of 75% off whatever they labeled the MSRP. And I know MSRP stuff isn't designed to sell at MSRP. It's kind of like Kohl's, like regular prices are relevant because there's always some sort of discount. I think they kind of run that model. But how does that transfer to Amazon? Can they transfer it to Amazon? So, but Bath and Body Works sells, those stores are always crowded every time I'm at the mall. They do $60 to $80 million on Amazon, so they sell both places, so we shall see. Lounge Zinger, I got here late, but what was the OAC Plus with the discount code thing? Yeah, it's the Black Friday sale. We are, look, I know, so not to rub it in to anybody, but the founder's rate was $49 a month. Right? I forget what the initiation fee, but it was $49 a month moving forward. That's what you locked in when you got the founder's rate. And they ran that for a long time. Like 200 people jumped on that founder's rate. And when that finally ended, it went from $49 a month to $99. That's the regular price right now. And there were some people that were upset that they missed it, because that's a big jump. It warranted, I think, I think $99 is still a bargain. But just knowing that it was 49, it kind of has some retro resentment, but so now it's the regular price is 99. So now this Black Friday sale knocks it down to 59 a month, not quite founder's rate, but a huge discount over the regular price that the OAC Plus is now. So the code's Black Friday 40. I misstated that earlier, but that is the correct code, Black Friday 40. Enter that in the coupon code, and you'll get in the coupon slot at the checkout. You'll get 40% off the initiation fee, 40% off your monthly charge for life. You lock in $59 a month, and that's going to include everything that there is now, and it's going to include everything moving forward. You'll still pay $59, even if Chris has to eventually charge $150 a month, because that's how strong the community's gotten. You still get the benefit of the ground floor for the most part. So yeah, big sale. That's what we were talking about. I was trying to quickly go over all the perks, but I even told Chris to his face, man, it's like there's just no quick way to highlight everything that the OAC Plus has to offer. So it looks like we're through the questions. So we'll do a last call for questions. I'll give you a minute or two to type just in case. Chris is on a road trip. And I think he said he's back. I think he'll be with me for the Wednesday show. He only mentioned the Sunday show. But look, I wanted to share, while I'm giving you time to type in the last questions, I thought this was interesting. I'm reading a book called Reset by Dan Heath. And there was one, I've taken a bunch of notes, and I'm still very early in the book. So it's turning out to be a good one. And the Heath brothers, all their stuff is so good. It's just jam packed with stuff that you want to highlight and remember and save. But he did a study. It's a chapter regarding progress, and he titled it "Progress as a Motivator." And get this, there was a study was done where employees kept daily diaries of their workday. And the study ended up being 238 employees over 7 different companies, right? Those 238 employees submitted 12,000 diary entries total. And upon analysis of these diary entries, the single most important thing that boosted emotions, motivation, and job satisfaction was progress. 76% of the people in their diaries said that the best work days that they had involved progress, and only 13% of what turned out to be the best days via the diary entries involved setbacks, right? And that's not as weird as it sounds either. I mean, there's some satisfaction in problem solving as well. Even if there's a setback, you find a solution, there can be some satisfaction from there. But only 13% of the best days involve setbacks. The kicker here is managers. They also surveyed managers, and only 5% of the managers from these companies in their responses mentioned progress as an employee motivator, right? So you've got 76% in the diary saying progress is essentially is a main component of the best days, their best work days, and the managers have no clue, right? So I thought that was interesting in our work days, because we kind of we equate a lot of a lot of how we do with how much we get done, right? The to-do list. You hear people saying, "Oh, I've got 10 things on my to-do list. I only ever get to 3 of them, so 7 of them get bumped to tomorrow, and then whatever I have to do tomorrow gets added onto that." You talk about these growing to-do lists, when maybe progress is more important. Maybe if we just register and recognize progress, regardless of completion, as long as we can kind of identify and acknowledge that we've moved forward, maybe we could be a little easier on ourselves, as far as what we get done. I thought that was fascinating. The 76% to the 5% of the managers. The managers have no idea. So let me see what questions if we got anything. Lounge Zinger, okay, what's the time period where the code will be active? Okay, so I don't know for sure. I don't know if Chris has said for sure, but definitely through Black Friday, right? Like, because the code's Black Friday. So I think it's safe to say at least until Friday. Chances are Cyber Monday you'll probably still be okay. You might be okay through Cyber Week, but okay, there he is. All right, he actually popped in. Hey, Chris. So we know he's safe from the travels too. Okay, so it is through Cyber Monday. So there's your confirmation. Clock is ticking. Set little 7+ days to take advantage of this big discount. And Chris says, I wonder if there's a difference in results from employees versus entrepreneurs. That's an interesting question. Specifically, would entrepreneurs score higher on the finding problems to solve than employees? You'd think so, wouldn't you? Well, actually, you know what? I could see that going either way. Because how many entrepreneurs know that their main job is problem solver? I think even entrepreneurs are blind to that. They kind of sit there and go, "Oh, I didn't get anything done. I was putting out fires all day." And it's like, well, maybe you don't realize, but that's part of the job. You were actually doing the job. So I could see that going either way. It's interesting to think about, though. 2 follow-ups. I signed up for OA Leads last week. When do they send it out? Well, they is I. OA, if you're talking about OA Leads 24/7, is that the one you signed up for? And if this is who I'm thinking of, there is someone out there. It's a new sign up. I won't say your name out there. I didn't see a direct connection to Lounge Zinger or anything like that. However, I wasn't able to send one of the emails to a new sign up because they haven't confirmed their email address via my email service. I believe if you signed up around November 16th, if that's a familiar date, you received a follow-up email. Check your spam folder, promotions tab, check all those. And my email service would have sent you a link to go ahead and confirm your email. You have to click that button because I'm not allowed to send you an email to an unconfirmed email address. So if that's if it's not you and it's not my company, I apologize for all that. But I mean, I guess it's good advice in general. It is kind of important to confirm your emails when you sign up for somebody new. But if that's you, you should have the confirm your email link. You should also have an email from me directly. If you whoever used that email address, I said, hey, and I did put the link to the leads for this weekend in that email that I sent to you, letting you know that you need to confirm your email. So even though the emails went out this weekend already, they go out at noon, Saturday and Sunday, to answer that question. But you do have a link to them if you can find the direct email that I sent to you. So, and if not, if you're still having trouble, support@oaleads247.com. Shoot me over a message and I'll get you squared away one way or another. And thank you. All right. I believe we are through all of the questions. I got had a bonus piece of news, but I'll push that. Gmail put me, well, you put a link in there or something, and Gmail's like, whoa, easy cowboy, easy hot rod. So, yeah. So you'll have a link, you'll have the leads, and then once you confirm, you'll be set up to automatically receive them with all of the subscribers. So glad. I didn't realize that was you, Lanzinger, but I'm glad we got it squared away. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you joining me. We're going to do this all over again Wednesday at 5:30. We'll do another news and Q&A show. I've got a piece of news that I'm going to bump to Wednesday potentially. And we'll be right back here. Bring your questions, whatever you want to know about. If I didn't do a sufficient job, maybe ask that close and delete when Chris is here. Maybe maybe you'll have something a little more intelligent to say. So if you haven't already and you want to support Men's Health, there's the link there. It'll be in the show notes as well, or the little info, whether if you watch it on YouTube or something like that. Movember.com/M/Chris Rasick. Creeping up on $8,000 raised. I am, with your help, I didn't even mention that when somebody asked about it earlier. I'm like 45th in the US as far as fundraisers. I actually, you guys shot me all the way up into the top 50 of the US. So that is impressive. That makes me very proud and very grateful. So if you want to support Men's Health, I'll have this stupid thing still on Wednesday. I gotta have a stupid. I trimmed it a little bit. Do I look like a cop or phys ed teacher? Or I'm not sure what the look is, but I know my wife can't wait for it to be over. She's a good sport. It's only been 13 years. We've been married, and I've been doing Movember for 13 years. So, yeah, not a lot of pictures taken in November, but that's good. It's for a good cause. So, all right, that's it. I'm out. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good week, and I'll talk to you soon.